John Falola, Lagos. Awesome. Okay, we have a lot of people connecting from Abakaliki this time around. That's interesting. Awesome. Good, 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 good. Sholawo Nikoko, it's good to see you, Sholawo Nikoko, all the way from United States. Good. So we've covered 3 continents right now. Africa. Okay, there's Larry Odeshola, my Larry from Canada also. Good. Larry, type it then and let them know that you are from Canada. Let them know that we are all over the world. Iola from Lagos. Thank you so much for joining in. And our dad from what's it called 10 minutes before time. So it's good to have all of you here. Thank you for joining in. And guys, we are going. This is it. It would be nice if you can have your video on so that doctor can always see your face. It's always good when he's talking to somebody, there's a face attached to it. So if you can turn on your video, it would be nice. But like we said, don't turn on your video when you're wearing a singlet or when you're wearing nothing. We have 64 people right now, and 64 people should not be seeing some things that they are not supposed to be seeing. So choose a good part of the house and then turn on your video so that we can see you, and then when doctor start talking, he will know who he's talking to. So thank you guys for joining. Once it's done, we'll go to the Q&A. You know how we do it. You just raise your hand, go to the chat room, and then there's should be an icon there that you click on, and then you raise your hand and we take you. And some of us who don't want to talk directly, you can also write your questions on the chat room, and then we'll take it, and then we'll move on. Private things also. Tomorrow is our meeting. It's a private meeting. This is not general for everybody. Tomorrow is our meeting, and it's for 7 p.m. We will be having Samson Davids. Samson Davids, you all know, is a strategy man, and he's going to be taking us on beyond the gloom and the doom. You know, we've heard a lot of bad stories about businesses and everything, but most of the people in the business right now are making some money, good money, even in this COVID period. So we need to learn the strategy on how to go about it. So if you're interested in that, if you're not a member of the business think tank, but you're interested in that, drop your number right now so that we can give you a call when we're done. Drop your number so that we can let you know what it takes to be part of it. Now, this is our morning series. We have 2 programs on Thursdays and on Saturdays. So Thursday is for leadership series where we teach on leadership back and forth. That is when I handle that. And on Saturday, I try as much as possible to bring people, not people who are making money right now, but people who are done so much with their lives, and then they have experience. Like I always tell people that, look, a young person may have new clothes, but an older person will definitely have more rags than the young person. What does that mean? Experience. What we're dealing with today is experience. And once you learn from other people's experiences, you will be able to mitigate and learn from them and mitigate against any crisis that will come or any mistake that will come. So that's why we're so privileged to have our daddy today. I have adopted him as my dad. You know, I don't know whether it's the father that adopts the son, but this time around we're changing the whole thing. I've adopted him rather as my dad. So he has the last born now. He should be aware of that. It's good to be here. Can you take this thing off? I want to see, can you just take this advert off? Let us just see the faces of everybody that we are. Good. So guys, are we ready? If you're ready, text me, put it on the chat room. I am ready. Can I see that? I am ready. If I don't see the chat going on, I am ready. Wow! Guess what? Guess what, guys? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I just saw Professor Patitomi join this. Professor Patitomi is here. Wow! Wow! Thank you so much, Prof. Kenny, before we bring Doctor, I think Prof needs to greet us. You need to unmute Professor Pat right now. Let him greet us. Are we not blessed? Are we not blessed? Are we not blessed? Kenny, can you see Prof?
Well, I am pleased. I am privileged to be able to join. This is a huge growth experience for everybody. As they say, when you climb the Iroko tree, or what tree is it? You make sure that you cut all the firewood that is there. You have an extraordinary man in Dr. Kolade. I've had the privilege of having him mentor me for many, many, many years. In fact, I've had the good fortune of literally sharing an office with him too. And I can tell you that you are truly blessed with the opportunity to listen to him.
Well,
Thank you so much, Prof.
Interject one word there. Professor Pat knows that one of my biggest ambitions is to see how I can escape this man called Pat Tommy. So far, I haven't succeeded. So, welcome everybody. I'm glad to see you all.
Yes, sir. Okay, without further ado, sir, let us just, everybody, please let us go to, we'll unmute you right now. We'll unmute everybody. And you know the purpose why we're unmuting you is to welcome Dr. Christopher Kolade to the house. So just let him hear your voice. Welcome. If you have to clap, let him hear. And then Kenny, unmute everybody so that we can hear them. Welcome. So that doctor can hear them. Welcome. I should not be calling him doctor. I should be calling him daddy. Can hear everybody. Welcome him. Kenny, unmute everybody. Kenny, are you there?
I'm here, sir.
Unmute everybody. Okay, everybody, welcome Dr. Christopher Kolade, please. Daddy, just let him hear your voice. Let him hear your clap. Let him hear. Hope you can see us clapping.
Good evening, sir.
Glad to have you, sir.
Good evening, sir. Glad to have you, sir.
Welcome.
So blessed to have you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. We're happy to have you.
Welcome.
Welcome, sir.
We're happy to have you here today.
We're blessed to have you here, sir.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, sir.
And we thank God for preserving your life to be a role model to seven generations.
Everybody back.
God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you, everybody.
It's really tripping out.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
Yep, thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm glad to have you. God bless you.
Okay. So I'm glad to see everybody, and we're all going to have a good time. Huh? Very good. So,
you are welcome, all of us.
all right, I've unmuted myself. Nii, do you want to say something else before we continue?
No, I have your profile here, but I think everybody already knows you. You have never had it this.
I don't get time.
No, in fact, I never liked listening to my own profile anyway. So you can spare me that this evening.
Okay, sir, you can, the floor is yours now, sir.
Right. Let me say once again that when I received the invitation to join this meeting, I accepted gladly and quickly, so that Lee did not have time to change his mind and to uninvite me. So here I am, and I'm glad that you're all here as well. My understanding of our objective tonight is to look at the dimension of lessons from the boardroom. It's a money-series seminar, money-series webinar, but my particular interest is to look at lessons from the boardroom. And sometimes, you know, we have these ideas about the boardroom, forgetting that the boardroom is only one part of the total corporate organization, and that therefore anything that goes on in the boardroom must add some value to the totality of the organization. If the boardroom is at any time in conflict with the rest of the organization or not adding positive value, then it's a waste. So, but what is the role of the boardroom in all of this, in all of what we're considering here? Now, according to the legal position, any enterprise is owned by certain people. The ownership of the enterprise belongs to those who have actually invested some of their resources in setting up the organization, setting up the enterprise. So the ownership belongs to those people. But because sometimes the ownership is in multiples of units, and they cannot always meet together to run the organization. Also because not all of them have the skills, the expertise to run a business organization. The practice is to appoint a board to whom we give the responsibility of running the enterprise. So the board is actually appointed by the owners of the enterprise. And the owners, being the people who appoint, they have a right to expect that the people they have appointed will represent them well. The board is actually representing the owners, and therefore, to that extent, it is whatever the owners want to see happen that the board has a duty to try to make happen. So even though the board is the one that takes the important decisions day after day, they do so from a position of delegated authority. The authority, the powers that they have to take those decisions are delegated to them by the owners of the enterprise. And the owners can be a family, can be some individuals, can be thousands of people, but they must have invested something to make the enterprise come to exist. But because the day-to-day running of the enterprise requires hands-on attention, they will then appoint people to a board, and that board has the responsibility then of running the enterprise. I thought we should get that out of the way because the board is running on delegated powers. The second thing that I want us to get out of the way also is that the owners, what they have in the enterprise, what each owner has in the enterprise is a stake. A stake means that this owner has something to gain or to lose if the enterprise runs well or doesn't run well. So the stakeholder who is an owner not only has invested something, but has the right to expect something in return, because for every investment we make, we expect returns to happen. Now, it is therefore the job of the board to make sure that they run the organization, the enterprise, in such a manner that they can generate value for the owners, not only generate value, but also deliver that value. I make a difference between generating value and delivering value, because there's no doubt that if an enterprise is even fairly well run, it will generate value. But in order for you to deliver value to the owner has to be assured of your goodwill, your good faith, your readiness to be held accountable for what you deliver to him. So generate the value and deliver it. So this whole Money Series webinar is based on that fundamental concept that you generate value, and it is better if it is positive value, not just any value, but positive value. And let me explain what I mean by positive value. In order to generate value, you must employ some resources. You must invest some resources in activities. And at any time that what you invest is lower than what you realize, that is positive value. If what you invest is heavier, is bigger than what you then get back, that is negative value. So that's important, that owners, investors are looking for positive value, and therefore that is what the board is there to deliver. So just to remind you of the two things I've said, the board is running on delegated authority, delegated powers, and is there to generate and deliver positive value to the owners of the enterprise. Now, in order to do that, there are certain ways in which you must be able to measure what you are delivering. Because, as I said, there can be positive value, there can be negative value. Therefore, both the owners and their agents, the board, must agree on the terms that they are going to use in determining the quality of what they are delivering, what they are generating. And because of the way that value is generated in many enterprises around the world, the custom now is that the results generated by the enterprise are measured and stated mainly in financial terms, because money is one of the things that the value of which we are usually agreed upon. And please note my word usually, because sometimes you run into currency situations where you're not agreeing on the value. But let's assume that we all agree that $1 means $1, 1 naira means 1 naira. Then that gives us a starting point where we can say, right, if we state your results in financial terms and you state those results in terms that everybody else can understand, that gives you the opportunity of cementing this relationship between the owners and their agents, the board. Now, so the basic concept is this, that the owners have put something into the enterprise. They've invested something. They have a right to expect something back. And the way that the board should look at this is that for every input that they receive from the owners, they must be ready to deliver what we call fair returns for the input that has been made. And because what you're trying to deliver is fair returns, then we need to understand each other as we say this. Now, to secure the expectation of the owner for fair returns, for returns that are the value that is positive, then we say, okay, this is the way we shall measure it. And because we agree on how to measure it, we should have no difficulty understanding each other when we come to measure what is being delivered. And so you notice that in order for the enterprise to be managed on a day-to-day basis, those who are actually running it must have a free hand to use their expertise in doing what they have been hired to do. So it's up to the owners to make sure that they do not appoint people to the board who do not have the right expertise. But let us assume that you solve that problem. The owners have made sure that they're not hiring anybody without the necessary expertise. The only fair thing to do is to then allow that person, a member of the board or the board as a whole, to have a free hand in running the enterprise on a day-to-day basis, but agree what result you expect. Agree that this is the kind of result I shall look for, and if you deliver this result, then you have done well. If you don't deliver that, so again, here, the point is that agreement between the owner and the agent as to what result is expected, what quality of result is expected, what time the result is expected, and to what degree the result should satisfy the expectations of the owners. All these things need to be agreed. And that is why we have general meetings, annual general meetings, emergency general meetings, at which we can come to agreement on those things. But as I say, once agreement has been struck, it's up to the agents to do their work and the owners to let the agents do their work. Let me make just one further point in these my opening remarks. With everything I've said so far, I hope you can see that it's important, very important, that both the agent and the owner should have some confidence in the good faith of each other. Because you're going to act as my agent and you're going to produce results to my expectations, I must be fairly certain that you know what my interests are and that you are prepared to work in my interests and deliver what I'm expecting. And this sometimes is where the problem arises, that sometimes the relationship between the owner and the agent is not as positive as it might be, because in today's world, it is not easy to invest your trust in other people. We find that people, because of the different standards of performance that we witness, we sometimes doubt each other's good faith or even goodwill. So it is important that we enjoy mutual confidence between both owner and agent, and that mutual confidence is reinforced at every possible occasion, that you do not allow yourselves to imagine that you don't trust this person who's working for you, or you don't trust this person you are working for. Mutual confidence, mutual trust are important. So finally, before I yield the floor, let me say this, that measurement criteria is what we all need to understand. That when you say, our webinar is called Money Series Webinar, but with Ni's permission, I'm going to expand that a little and say that really we're talking about a webinar which should deal with the returns we're receiving from our investment. It may be definable in terms that everybody can understand. And that is why it is not just the quantum of financial resources, it is also the financial ratios. For instance, when you invest something, what is the size of return that you get? When you invest something, what is the quality of return that you receive back? It is not just the quantum of money, it is also the ratio of what you invest to what you get back. That is also important. And so when we look at the way that enterprises state their results, you can often notice that it is the ratios that are really important. And when you look at the importance of ratios, then you can have the confidence that you're getting what you expected. I don't want to go on too long because really many years ago, Patu Tommy ejected me from Lagos Business School because he thought I could no longer deliver lectures. So I'm not going to start tonight. What I want to do is simply to let you know that these are the principles that I want to start with, to say that investment results should be measured in terms of value. And value is not just quantum of money, it's also the ratio of what you invest to what you get back. I see everybody is smiling very wisely here. And it looks as if either you are enjoying what you're hearing or you are tolerating what you're hearing. Let's see what happens if I yield the floor right now.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I'm sure we are enjoying. So, okay, let me speak for myself. I'm enjoying what I'm hearing. And thank you so much, sir, for all this. So what we'll do now is to take questions. Before we do that, please note this. Part of my vision for starting this morning series, and you can see that most of the time when we talk about morning series, we're not talking about the money itself. We're just talking about the process and how to make it. Now, everybody should realize that for you to say you want to make money, most of the money decisions that you're going to be making is going to happen in the boardroom. People are going to decide in the boardroom whether they want to give you that contract or not. And so everything is all about the boardroom. So the vision is this. Myself and some of my guys, we decided that, look, we want to start talking to young people, young business owners, so that they can build businesses that can last 50 to 100 years. And because I have not done any business up to 50 to 100 years, so what we do is that we bring in experts, experienced people who have grown businesses for years like that to come and talk to us so that we can pick up some few things and then run with it. That's why tomorrow we're having a private meeting with Samson Davids. Now, what Samson David does is that he does a whole lot of work on case studies on different companies, so he brings it down to our level. So tomorrow, 7 p.m. If you're interested in that, you can put down your number and it will get across to you to let you know what will qualify you to be part of that. And again, 2 weeks, that means Sunday, 2 weeks after, from tomorrow, 2 weeks, we'll be having Bishop Febi Daosa to come and talk to us also on how to keep the business, keep the business running and everything for January. Because Bishop Febi Daosa is a second generation CEO. Second generation CEO. His dad left some businesses and he has been able to keep it going since his dad left. So let him come and tell us, that means 2 weeks time after this Sunday in a private meeting, he'll come and tell us what his dad taught him and what he has imbibed and how he has been able to retain his father's legacy. So it's very important for us to know this. We'll start tomorrow, but you must be part of the private meeting. It's not going to be an open meeting. So it's either you call that number or you give us your number so that we can reach you and let you know how you can be a part of that. So quickly, what we'll now do right now is to do Q&A, question and answer. So if you have a question, do me a favor by raising your hands. I mean, you know where to go. Just go there, raise up your hands, and once you raise your hand, we'll be able to allow you ask your question. But you know the rules that we have here? If you're going to ask doctor any question, your video must be activated. We must see your face before we can unmute your mic. So, do I see any hands raised up? Kenny, do I see any hands? Okay, good. John Aja, can you activate your microphone, sorry, your video? If you do not activate your video, I will not unmute your mic. Okay, we have somebody already, the mic has already been unmuted. That's Chinedu Ezenwa. Chinedu Ezenwa, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Niye, and thank you, Dr. Christopher Kolade. I'm so elated to be part of this webinar. And Mr. Niye, I want to thank you also for what you did. That was like 3 months ago before the coronavirus lockdown started. There was a program on the island that I also attended that you delivered the lecture. Okay, and I was so excited. I want to thank you for that. I got a lot from that meeting. One of my directors actually posted this link for this meeting. I never knew it was going on, and I want to thank him also, Mr. Iyola. Sir, Dr. Kolade, I want to ask a question. I have like 2 questions, but let me ask one because I know there might be a lot of people that are waiting. So I want to ask, how in today's present realities, how do we turn these theories, as it were, to practical? How do we turn it to to realities? I see a lot of young people who attend seminars like this, both online and in real online and physical. At the end of the day, how do we get to turn these theories to reality? Okay, how do we? Okay,
thank you, Chile. I'm sure, Doctor, I've gotten you, except
yes,
some clarification.
I heard you. I heard your question. Now, we often forget that for everything that we do in this world, we have to relate to people. There is hardly anything of importance that you can start and finish all by yourself without involving somebody else. And that must be part of the wisdom of Almighty God. Almighty God has created people of different talents, different backgrounds, different approaches to things in order that we may support one another. Now, of course, human beings being the kind of beings that they are, sometimes take self-interest above the interest of other people. And because you can go down that path, which is an erroneous path of regarding your own interest as being above everybody else's, that is why we come into situations where we break faith with one another. So how can we do it? There's no answer to this except to say, if everybody involved in business or in anything would remember that they did not bring themselves into this world, they came into this world by the authority and wisdom of Almighty God. They're in this world in order to serve the purpose of God. And that purpose of God is to make everybody enjoy the blessings that God has put into this world. God wants us all to have a good time in the world. But in order to have a good time in the world, we have to play our own role as we expect other people to play their own role. And any time that you regard your own interest as being superior to the interest of other stakeholders, you are missing it. Therefore, if we agree on this one thing, that at any time we want to take a decision, we will give intelligent consideration to the interest of other people, so that in the end, all of us can be happy, rather than just one person being happy and the other people being unhappy. So let me repeat that. Your own interest is important, but it is not more important than the interest of other stakeholders to the same enterprise. And if only we would bring ourselves to the point where we know that the final authority belongs to God, and his purpose is that we should support each other by putting other people's interests at least on the same level as ours, if not below, then if not above, then we will get it right. So any time I'm asked the question, how can we do this in today's environment? I say, it is people. It is people, and if people will do what God wants them to do, we will get there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, John, we'll unmute you right now. Can you unmute, John? If you have a question, it's good you raise your hand at the side of the participant. There's a column, there's an icon that you just click, and then you get to ask your question. So, John, over to you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Personally, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity you've always given to us. And Dr. Chris Kolade, we're really, really grateful for this wonderful outing this evening. It's really my pleasure. So I'll jump right into my question. I've actually set up a company which has run for some few years right now. It's quite a new company. And there is this thoughts I've been having about appointing agents, or so to say, those who should be in the board. I always thought it's going to be the major shareholders in the company that will have to sit on the board. Now, my question is this: if I really don't necessarily have to give out some shares of the company to an agent who I want to represent or to be present in the board, employee, possibly agreeing on a certain amount he or she will be paid on a monthly basis or on an annual basis, since I don't want to possibly give away the shares of my company, bringing the person in the board of directors for the firm.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Let's address that one. Remember always that in any organization, in any business organization, there are different roles that people play. And some you will bring in because they have certain skills, certain expertise, whether it be financial or personnel or something, you'll bring them in for that reason. Some others you will bring in because they have other experience of businesses, enterprises elsewhere, and you want to leverage that experience into your business. So depending on why you're bringing this person into your business, it will help you to decide whether the person should join the board or should just be one of the staff, one of the executives in the place. Usually you will bring people onto the board who have the expertise to contribute value at board level. In other words, they will come because they have the kind of breadth of experience that will make them give a certain measure of wisdom and expertise to whatever matters are being discussed. Also, they will leverage their own experience to make an input into your business. Then you look at the executive staff, and you will pay them a salary or something, or an allowance for the expertise that they bring into management of the company. Now, therefore, you have to make up your mind, first of all, what kind of value you're expecting this person to add to your enterprise. And there are certain things you look for when you want to appoint people to your board. And those things have to do with, first of all, experience. Secondly, the ability to listen to other people's views, consider them, and factor them into your own thinking so that you come out with something at the end that is good for the enterprise. And thirdly, you also need to know that this person who is coming onto the board must be somebody whose good faith is known not only to you, but can be demonstrated to the satisfaction of other stakeholders. Remember, the owners as a group must be able to trust anybody on the board. So those are some of the issues. We don't have time to go into every single one now, but in making up your mind what to do about appointments to the board, just be quite sure that what you need from a board member is different from what you're looking for from an executive person. And that board member must be able to demonstrate the kind of good faith, the wisdom, and the capacity to interact with other people at board level that you need in order to move the enterprise forward.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, thank you. Now, before we take the next question, I would just like to acknowledge someone who is on this webinar also. He has been a speaker at one of our webinars, so I'd just like to acknowledge him. Mr. Pastor Akim Oguniro, thank you so much for joining. If you're here, we can unmute your mic so that you can say hello to us before we go to the next question. So, Kenny, is it possible you locate Mr. Akim Oguniro and let him say hello to us? Have you been able to locate him? Okay, sir.
Good evening.
We can.
Well, I'm very pleased to be here. Incidentally, Doctor is the Chancellor of Macpherson University, and I serve on the board of trustees of Macpherson University. So when I saw your link, I just had to come and listen to him again. Always a pleasure to listen to you, sir. I've taken my learnings once again, and I'm happy that I'm here. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much. God bless you too.
Thank you, sir. So the next person that I can see here on the queue is an Adesoya, Oluwaseun Adesoya. So let me find out whether you are my Adesoya or whether you're the fake one. So can you unmute him so that I can find out whether it's the original or...
I think this is the original one that borrowed some family the name so that they won't be worried in those days. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good
I
evening.
think I'm a proud person tonight because Doctor happens to be the chairman of my company, System Specs, the leading electronic payment platform in Africa. So I'm a proud man tonight to have my chairman speaking to the world through Mr. Nia Adesanya's platform. Thank you so much, Chairman, and I pray that God will continue to strengthen you and give you more good health and long life in the mighty name of Jesus. The question I want to ask tonight, sir, is I have studied the trend. I've realized that great institutions have emerged in Africa. And once the owner dies, that's the end, which has raised a fundamental question for our own generation to start asking, how do we institutionalize legacy such that when the individual is no longer alive, the legacy can continue to speak for generations that will come after? Thank you, sir.
Right. In answering that question, let me tell you a little story. Some years ago, when I was just finding my way in on boards, we had a consultant who came to see us, and he asked us a question. He said, "Why are you in business?" And we told him many things: to make money, to give jobs, and so on. But he told us that the best answer to that question is that you're in business to remain in business. You're in business to continue in business. And the only way you can be sure of continuing in business is to build sustainability into your business. Now, if you do not deliberately and consciously build sustainability into your enterprise, it is not going to happen by accident. And it is not going to happen by default. And the way to build sustainability into any business, the first way to build sustainability into any business is to make sure that the people that you bring onto your board, the people that you hire into your executive are people who have sustainability as part of their vision, even for themselves, that they do not want to come into your business today and exit tomorrow, having taken the opportunity of a quick win or something, that you come into a business because you actually want to see that business grow. Now, the point is this, that you cannot build sustainability into a business unless that business grows. First of all, it must survive today. The business must survive today. And it must grow in order to meet the conditions of tomorrow. Because, take my word for it, the conditions of 5 years' time will not be the same as the ones of today. That means that there have to be people in that business who are part of the business, but also learning as they grow so that they can meet the conditions of the future. Therefore, building people in your business is one of the best ways of ensuring sustainability. And the only way to build people is to provide training, to provide the kinds of incentives that make people want to perform well, that make people want to learn as well. You know this thing called learning. One of the things that learning does for us is that if we learn effectively, we can actually say with justification that we are better today than we were yesterday. And we can say tomorrow that we're better tomorrow than we are today. Growth, learning induces growth. And growth is something that every individual is exposed to in this world. You know, we sometimes talk about developing our people. But do you know that the heart of real development is self-development? Unless the individual wants to grow, unless the individual wants to develop, it is difficult for that individual to contribute anything to corporate growth or corporate development. So let me round up this answer by saying, in order for us to be quite sure that we can sustain the quality in our business, let us grow our people, let us develop them, let us give them the right training, but not just training, also the right insights into what makes for success in any business, what makes for failure, and the reasons why things fail, and to understand that if you want to build a business that is going to have sustainability, the vision of that, what that business is going to be like many years from now, must be something that you generate today. And usually it is people who generate visions.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much. Now, what's the question and the answer that came from Doctor right now just buttress the fact that what I mentioned earlier on about the group of people that we're bringing together to be able to teach us on how to sustain our businesses. That, you know, it was Professor Pat that says that a man is born for a time and a season, but a business is not supposed to be for a time and a season. A business is supposed to outlive the man. So that's why we came together to put, and I mean, this year, March, we were all in Dubai together, trying to fashion out how we can run a sustainable business. And Professor Pat Tomi was with us in Dubai, and he spent over 10 to 12 hours for the 2 days and sharing his heart, sharing everything with us. And everybody came back there to come and tidy up on their structure and the sustainability plans. So that's why we are making it open to everybody here. If you want to be part of that, the numbers are there. Write your numbers down and then let us call you so that we can help you build a solid business. Now, you may think we don't have the experience, but we have enough social capital to be able to get the people who have the experience to come and talk to you on how you can sustain your business. So please put your name down, put your numbers down. For the business people who are serious, we'll get to you and let you know how we go about it. So let us go straight now to, and the next person on the line here is Kenneth Oba Yuana. Please, can you unmute him? Can you unmute Kenneth so that you can ask his question?
Good evening. Good evening, sir. I've learned so much from this webinar every Thursday and every Saturday. I'm really, really grateful. All right, thank you, sir. My question to Dr. Chris is, at what point does a company decide to have a structure, have a board members? At what point do you consider appointing board members? That's number one. I think my second question was, what should I look at for if I want to select my board members? What should I look at for if I want to select my board members? That was my second question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, Kenneth. Doctor.
Well, okay, let's start with the legal position. You know, if you're running a company in the public space, you are subject to the...
Sorry, sir.
Are we together? Are we together?
Yeah. I'm trying to,
right.
To mute
if you're running if you're running an enterprise in the public space, you are subject to the laws governing that space. And the Companies and Allied Matters Act is one of the legal instruments that we use in running corporations, corporate organizations. So, and you're told that the moment you start a business that is going to involve stakeholders, any kind of stakeholders, you need to have a governance structure that is reliable and that meets the requirements of the law. So at what point do you set up a board? Remember that the minimum number of directors you should have on your board is only 2. In other words, from the day that you think 2 people on the board will do something for you, you can have a board. Now, however, a board is not just a decoration. It's not just something you have because everybody is having boards. You have a board because there is something for the board to do, because there are dimensions to your business that you require some other expertise different from just your executives. In other words, for the moment you are in the public market space and you are relating to business associates, you are relating to stakeholders, you are relating to the market, you had better start thinking of having a board. It need not be a big board. As I said, 2 people can be on a board according to the law. But the point is that what that board brings to the business is a dimension of objectivity, if you like, objectivity that they consider other things other than just the daily running of the business. So at what point should you have a board? As soon as you know that you're operating in the public space and you're going to be relating to business associates, you're going to a bank to borrow money, for instance, you're going to any other business associate that is going to make an input into your business. And if the minimum number you're allowed is 2, that means you need not grow a big board from day one. You can grow your board gradually, depending on what the needs are as you reap them in your enterprise.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. So please, I can see a lot of people giving us their numbers who want to be part of the private meeting. let me say this. The meeting is for business people, not for people who aspire to be business people. Business people, you're already in business. Those are the people that will want to be there. So please note that. And if you still are thinking about it, quickly put your number there so that we can call you and let you know how we want to go about it. Good. Now, this is my friend from Switzerland. You need to activate your video. That's the rule. So okay, good. You activated your video, so you can unmute Christian Okaro. Please unmute Christian Okaro so that I can ask his question.
Good evening, Dr. Kolade. I really enjoyed this presentation. My major is I studied the strategic management in my master's, and we had this discussion about shareholders' value and the business continuity. And as someone into business, when you are a startup, you need shareholders, you need people to invest in your business capital in aspect of cash. And there is always this issue, looking at a lot of startups, they either sell off the business even before they even mature to declining stage. What advice do you have for entrepreneurs that are looking for investors, that in that sense shareholders, to take into consideration about this shareholders' desire for short-term profitability, and how do you marry that with your interest, the continuity of your enterprise? Thank you.
Right. Let me see if I can respond to that. First of all, let me say to you that you should, as much as possible, be setting out from the very beginning to create an enterprise that has a life. In other words, if you're looking for shareholders who just want to make a quick kill and exit, that is not really an enterprise. You need to create in an enterprise people who will have sufficient interest in what you're doing to invest time, effort, their talent, and their treasure in what they see happening. Of course, you can go into a business and make certain profit and get out, but that is not really my definition of a viable enterprise. I believe that what we ought to be looking at, and if you look at case studies all around the world, you will find that the most successful companies are companies that have been in business for a sustainable period. Companies that have set out to build something of value, something of worth, not just something where they make a quick profit and get out. So my advice to anyone who's setting out in business is your own vision for the business should be a driving factor in what kind of business you set up. What is your own vision for it? Are you setting up an enterprise which will make a contribution to the economy of your nation, of your environment on a sustainable way? Sometimes we don't remember that the economy itself, the total national economy, is an agglomeration of all these enterprises. It is when each enterprise plays its own role in contributing something of value to the economy that the economy itself becomes strong. And therefore, you don't want businesses that don't have any stability in what they're doing. So I would say my advice to you is, if you can avoid it, don't go for investment that is just there to make a quick kill and get out, because you can't run an enterprise that way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I think the next person here is, I'm trying to see it on my, Deepo. Is Deepo still there? Sorry, please. Ken, can you see the, okay, yeah, I think it's there. Can you unmute the next person?
Okay, thank you, sir, and good evening, everyone. So I have two questions for you, sir. You mentioned when you, as a business owner, having somebody at the executive level who has a sustainability mindset is going to help to grow the business. So my question is, what do you do if you have some of your strong talents at the executive level not having sustainability mindsets? And number two, from your own experience in the world of the business, what factors do you think are responsible for executives to have sustainability mindset? Is it a function of their background and training, or their age, or temperament?
No, I think let me answer that second question first. A sustainability mindset for anything speaks to your understanding of what the enterprise is all about and why you are there. You know, we must remember that as an individual, you don't have to be in any particular enterprise. You should be in an enterprise where your interest is excited by the enterprise, where you think you have something of value to contribute, where you also think you have something of value to derive from participation in this enterprise. So if I were running a business and I discovered that there was somebody on my strategic team or even my operative team who did not see any long-term future in the business, I would be hoping to separate myself from them as quickly as possible. Because you see, many of the decisions you take today, the consequences, the results of those decisions will not come until long after today. So if anybody is part of your decision-making team today, but is not going to wait to take responsibility for the outcome of the decisions they've joined in taking, then you're really you're whistling in the wind if you have that sort of person on your team. So I think it is always a good thing to look for people who have a sustainability mindset. And please understand that these days you can help people to acquire the expertise. You can help them to acquire the mindset by explaining to them what it is you're looking for them to do, and by showing them why it is in their best interests to have a sustainability mindset. So you can train it, you can develop it.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dipo. I was with Dipo today with his staff. We ran a training for the staff today, and let me just say this: you can train them, you can bring them up, you can upgrade them. I mean, whoever you're working with. And there's a guy right now who is working with us. He's actually enrolling about 6 of his top executive. His CEO, COO, and all his executive director into a program so that they can have the sustainability mindset that Prof is talking about here. So also, you can also take advantage of that. I think the next person is a woman, am I right? Kenny? Or she's dropped her. I thought I saw Twinnie. Kenny?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Can you, who's the next person there?
Okay, for right now, it's only Kolade Pupo. Okay, I get Tosin
Okay,
now. Tosin is here.
Okay, she raised her hand too. Okay, you can unmute Tosin.
Done.
Tosin, go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Tosin. We can hear you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Dr. Chris, for the information and the lessons that we have gotten so far. God bless you, sir. Now, I'm going to be asking as someone who, not particularly a business owner, but someone who is a member of staff, of course, in a company that is well structured and has a board. Now, in a situation where the chairman of the board and the board directly feel that the board does not have any business dealing with the staff of the company, and yet there's a lot of rift and strife between the top management and the board because of distrust issues which you have mentioned earlier, sir. Now, in a situation where the strife is so some that managing as a middle level management staff, you have information that can further direct and guide the board, yes, on some of the perspective that they have, which you feel should be guided properly, and you have information and facts and figures to buttress all of this, but the board would not have anything to do with members of staff, and it's now become something you only know as what is in the textbook. How do you transport this, into reality, and also ensure that your own career path is secured, not just that your job or your career is in the hands of a few people who will not get along with one another, sir?
Doctor, you need to unmute yourself.
I have just done
okay, good.
This is the kind of question that you get asked in an MBA class at business school. The person asks you the question, you can see that they're speaking from some particular experience, but they won't give you the details of the experience. They just want you to make a general comment that is going to support the position they want to endorse. Now, let me say, young lady, you don't mind if I call you a young lady, because there's a vast difference between your age and mine. Now, the thing we need to understand is that one of the reasons why we have organization is so that things will go well, so that each member of the organization will know what to expect in what particular situation. In other words, you don't want a situation in which you can just come in and out of hierarchies and relationships without some structure, some organization. Now, it is very important that in running our enterprise, we know what the reporting relationships are. We know how information is transmitted from one point to another. We know who has the responsibility, and please note my word, the responsibility for passing on a particular kind of information, and who has the responsibility for receiving it. Now, it is important that the structure should ensure all of that. But you see, the terrible thing about structures is that they don't run themselves. At some point, you have to populate your structure. And you can only populate your structure with real people. So you're back to the people problem. And once you get back to the people problem, you then come into this situation in which you say, well, I want to pass this information, but they won't listen to me. I want to do this, but it won't work. No, stay within the structure. Stay within the structure. And if there is something in that structure that blocks communication, if it is something in that structure that does not facilitate communication, let's change that. But let's not ignore the structure and go into different ways of passing information. I understand and I sympathize with what you're trying to imply in your question, but put yourself in the position of someone who has set up an enterprise and who has created a structure for running that enterprise. You want to be sure in your mind that what you've set up is working. And if it is not working, you want to know why it is not working and what you can do about it. You don't want a situation in which the structure is not allowed to work and everybody is at liberty to do what they like. So my answer to your question is stay within the structure, and if there's something wrong with the structure, find a way of changing the structure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I think we just go to the next question. The next person here is Remy Dairo. Remy Dairo, please, we'll love to unmute you. Okay, your video is on right now. Can you unmute him, please? Very good friend of mine.
I'm good. All right.
Remy.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nia Adesanya. Thank you very much, for Dr. Kolade. Thank you for the time you share and the wisdom. Quickly to my question. Yeah, I have an experience, and this experience, I just want to look at it and see how you can advise. Now, is there a situation where you can overgrow your board? Now, I set up a board at the time, and then at the point they were doing well, at the point they didn't understand what I was doing. They didn't understand the vision. They didn't understand what I was communicating. And they were on board, and I signed, they're on board for 2 years, thereabout. And then they could not communicate what I was expecting. Can you sack your board and look for a new board and terminate your board before the time comes? This is a reality. I'm just asking this situation, what can you do when your board are not getting what exactly you're trying to, what you're trying to communicate, and then they are not really giving the expectation as expected?
Okay, Remy, let me see if I can answer that directly. This thing called communication is at least a two-way activity. In other words, just as you can talk to me and I can understand you, you must expect that I will talk to you and you will understand me. Now, any communication that is in one direction only is inadequate. And therefore, if there's any difficulty, please listen to what I'm saying. If there's any communication difficulty between you and your board right now, or there has been any, try to find out whether you have been saying what you meant to say clearly enough. Huh? Just listen, Huh? Try to find out whether you have been clear enough in what you're saying. But also, try to find out if there's something they're saying to you that you're not hearing. And people can talk to you not just with their voices, they can talk to you with body language, they can talk to you with signals. You have to be alert and vigilant to catch every signal that is coming from anybody with whom you have long-term joint interests. So whenever people complain to me about communication difficulties, I say, please find out. One, have you been clear enough in what you want to say? And if you're sure you've been clear enough, have you listened to what they have to say? Have you observed what they're telling you with their body language? Because let me give you the basic principle of good communication. Nobody that I know wants to be regarded as a negative person. All of us want to be positive. All of us want other people to like us. We want other people to respect us. We want other people to admire us. Therefore, this thing called communication, we have an interest in making it positive both ways. But our ability to communicate hangs very, very seriously on how well we listen, how well we observe. And one of the things I used to teach when I was in business school was to say, look, go back to those people that you say are difficult to communicate with. those people that you find so difficult to talk to or to, they don't understand you, go back to them and start afresh. Do it this way, that way, and you will discover if you're doing it conscientiously, they will also see the signal from you that you're trying your best, and they will respond accordingly. I have not yet met any group of people who are not ready to respond when the quality of communication is right.
Thank you so much, sir. Please, again, let me just remind everybody, there's going to be a meeting tomorrow, but the meeting tomorrow, 7 p.m., is a private meeting. If you're a businessman, you want to be part of that, just drop your number or you call the number that is being displayed for my admin so that we can get you into that meeting as soon as we can. So please, 7 p.m. tomorrow, it's going to be a meeting with Samson Davids. You want to be part of that. So the next person on the queue is Bayo Olagwiji. Please, can you unmute him so that he can ask his question? Adigwiji, sorry. Bayo
Thank
Adigwiji.
you very much, sir, and good evening to everybody. Daddy, thank you very much for that insightful discussion. My question actually has 3 legs. The first leg was asked by Ms. Olabisi in terms of non-communication between staff and a board. Then the second leg was asked by Remida Ero between the owner of the business and his board. Then the third leg is this. I've been invited to be on a board sometime, but the owner of the business will not just listen. He lacks processes, he lacks procedure, and patient enough. Now, my question is, what are the considerations that someone will actually look into before accepting to be on someone's board, such that it once a time good relationship don't turn sour by virtue of disagreement at the board, between the board and the owner or owners of the business, whichever way will be. And taking from your response to Mr. Remida Ero, at what point does the problem move from being that of communication to that of attitude ready to be changed? Thank you, sir.
Right. First of all, let me share my own personal experience with you. As you can imagine, over the years, I have received approaches from people wanting me to join their boards. And the first question I ask when anyone invites me to a board is, what are you expecting of me on this board? Why are you asking me to join your board? What value do you think I'm going to bring to your board? And you will be surprised that the proportion of people who have actually given that a thought that they can then express is quite small. Many people just want you on their board because they think you have experience, because they think you have a name or whatever it is, but there must be some value you're bringing to the board. If you cannot, both of you agree on the value that you're going to bring to the board, my advice is don't join that board, because you will soon find that there is no basis for a meeting of minds on such a board. So my advice is, before you invite someone to your board, decide what exactly you want them to bring to the board, and let them know what you want them to bring, so that if at any time they are not bringing what you expect of them, it will be easy to ask them to leave. Because before they joined, you agreed on what they should bring to the board. I hope I'm clear on this one. There has to be agreement between the two parties. This is what I expect of you. That's why I want you on my board. And this is how we're going to judge whether you are playing your role or not. That's very, very, very important. Now, at what point do you identify that this is not just a matter of communication, but a matter of fundamental attitude? Well, if possible, before the person joins your board. But let's assume that you misread the situation before the person joined your board. That is why in the legislation, the Companies and Allied Matters Act, you are actually supposed to re-elect directors periodically. In other words, no director is meant to serve on a board continuously forever. In most companies that I've worked in, 1/3 of the board must retire every year and be available for re-election. So there's always an opportunity, but you must be patient if it is, if you want to wait for the time the tenure will run out. You must be patient, but all the time, please do not let us talk to each other from behind screens. If someone is not playing their role, the role they agreed to play, call them in and tell them so, and demonstrate it to them. Let them see how they are not meeting your expectation, how they are disappointing you, and maybe they can still do something about it. But if you hide it from them, or if you don't tell them the truth, and then one day you say, look, I'm not pleased with the way you're behaving on this board, please resign. It's be unfair to everybody. So if it's a matter of attitude, point it out to them that you don't like their attitude, and demonstrate to them, give them examples of what they've done for which you are saying you are no longer pleased.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Finished.
I think, okay, the next person on the queue right now is Inena. Inena, you have to activate your video before we can unmute you. It's good we see the face of the person who's asking the question. Inena. Inena. Okay, we'll wait for you to activate your video before we can unmute you.
To show his face?
I'm not sure. I think the person has even dropped his hand right now, or her hand. Now, good. Do we still have Professor Patitomi in the house? Kenny, can you help me search for him, whether he's still there? Professor Patitomi is doing something that is so interesting.
Professor Pat,
and I think everybody... He's doing something that I think should interest all of us. I think
Pat
he's
Pat has disappeared because he thinks that I will question him later about all of this.
Okay. Well, I will share the details with everybody. He's trying to bring older people, to come and tell us about what's it called, the history of our country. History of our country. The last time he was with we were with Shegun Oshoba. I think there's Yankaza that is coming this Sunday. So I'll share the link with everybody so that we can be part of that, so that we can learn the history of our country. Because I'm not sure there's still history classes in the secondary school and the primary school now. So all those things are very, very important. Remember what we're doing here. Everything that you see here, this area do is sustainability, something that will last for years, 100 years, 50 years. You want to leave your name as a legacy to people around you so that they can always say thank you to you whenever they remember you. History of Nigeria, good. Since I don't have any question left, I think first, before I allow Doctor I can't see you again. I hope you're still around. For the meantime, I would like to unmute. Okay, there is. Well, we're still waiting for Doctor to be back. Kenny, is he around? Yeah, he's still around.
He's around. He's online.
Yeah, I just can't see his video again. I can't see him again.
His video is on, just that he's muted.
Okay, good.
Can you see me? Can you hear
Waiting
me?
for. Okay, good. He's back. He's back. Good, doctor. It's good to have you back. There is a John Aja still raising his hand. So, John, we unmute you right now. Ask the question quickly so that we can allow doctor rest.
Okay. I have to come again. There is something I'm trying to find the difference between. I want to know the major difference between board of directors and the advisory board for a company.
Okay, thank you.
Right. It's as it says. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Is that it says the board of directors is meant to direct the company, to direct the enterprise, to direct the business. So it is up to them to take the critical decisions that will result in directing the company one direction or the other. So they are, if you like, executors of decisions. An advisory board is exactly what it says. It offers advice, and the people who are running the organization may accept or may reject the advice. So the advisory board can take decisions, can also make suggestions, but they are not binding on anybody. Whereas the board of directors has responsibility for making sure that the enterprise is running properly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's amazing.
I think at this point, I will let Doctor say final word. But before he does that, I would like to appreciate Niyi Adekunle. Niyi Adekunle was the man that facilitated my contact with Dr. Chris. And interestingly, I've seen Dr. one-on-one, but I'm not sure he has seen me. You know, I've met him, I greeted him. I'm not sure my face stayed with him or stuck with him. But now I think he knows me now. He knows me now because I'll be coming and knocking on his door, on his phone every now and then. But I want to appreciate Niyi Adekunle. If Niyi Adekunle is here, please let's see your face so that people will know you're the one that made it happen. So people don't start thinking that I'm a genius here. No. Now that's why I always tell people, this is the time where you have to activate your social capital. The people that you know will always get you the people that you want. Niyi made it happen. Niyi, are you here?
I can see Niyi there.
Niyi Adekunle. No, I mean Niyi Adekunle.
Yes, Niyi Adekunle, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. You're still muted. Can't hear you.
Kenny, can you unmute Niyi? Probably he's trying not to unmute himself.
Okay, I think he's unmuted now. So confess your guilt, because you're the one guilty of bringing me here.
Niyi, where are you?
I think he's still muted.
Yeah. So you can talk now.
Okay, I think he's he didn't activate his microphone.
Yes,
I can see.
You're not always this shy. No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And I don't do miming.
Okay, I think it's about his microphone. Probably didn't activate it. So, but you can all see his name, his face. That's Niyi Adekunle. He's a pastor too. I call him Pope. He's the only Pope with biological children in the world. So help me appreciate Niyi Adekunle. Whenever you see him, help me type it there. Thank you, Niyi, for making this happen. Thank you, Niyi, for making this happen. Please help me thank him. Thank you, Niyi. One of these days we'll work on your microphone and make sure that we can hear you properly. So, Doctor, over to you. Final word so that we can allow you rest for today. Allow you rest for today. I'm sure,
That
coming back
sounds,
for more. Oliver,
yes, that sounds like a threat, but it's a welcome threat. It's a welcome threat. But let me say one final word. You know, one of the things we've got to appreciate is that in this business of running enterprises, whether on executive or on board, you get as much from the enterprise as you put into it. If you go into your role in the enterprise conscientiously, meaning meaning to do your best and to contribute the best you can, you find that eventually the returns you get for what you invest are also respectable. And therefore, that is why it is important. If there's any part of corporate life that you don't understand yet or you don't agree with yet, find ways of learning about it. Find ways of developing yourself, because the knowledge, the expertise, the literature on all these things is increasing every day. And we have the responsibility to bring ourselves up to steam so that we can do our best for our organizations. God bless you all.
thank you. Doctor, before you go, let me say this, that everyone, some people have been asking, how do you get the video of this session? What we'll do is that we lump this video together with every other video that we have on our digital products. So I'm sure they will share how you can get it. Not just this, everyone from Professor Patutomi's session to Julian Kulia's session to Dr. Victor Umbanasi last week, Saturday's session. We'll lump all of them together in a and then you have so 7,000 naira. Put something there so that you can get to see how you can listen to the and get to talk more about this. Good. So, Doctor, thank you so much. What I will do now, sir, before you go, we will unmute everybody so that they can say thank you to you, and then you hear our voices to say big thank you, Daddy, for being a blessing to us today. So unmute everybody, let Daddy hear the voices and the clap of everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, sir.
Very good session. Awesome
Session, mind blowing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Dr. Christopher Kolade.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Chris Kolade.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
God
Thank you, sir.
bless
Thank you,
you.
Dr. Chris Kolade. Thank you. Thank you.
So we can allow you go. Don't forget, everyone, tomorrow 7 p.m. You are busy. You're a businessman, you want to be part of the program tomorrow, put down your number, we'll get across to you. 7 p.m. tomorrow is a private meeting, it's not a meeting for everybody. You have to be part of the group before you can be allowed in. So 7 p.m. tomorrow, give us your number, get across to you. Now, the other one that I showed you before was this is the program for tomorrow. If you're interested in the digital product, you can call the same number that you're seeing there. The digital product, you can learn all those things in there in the digital library. So with the 27,000 naira, you can learn this, and you have access to the digital library for 3 years. That means every other webinars that we'll be having, we'll be putting all those things there. So for 3 months, you don't have to pay to listen to any other thing again. For 3 months, you have it 27,000 naira. You just have access, and then the webinar, all webinars except private, all webinars except the private meetings. The private meeting will not be for general consumption. The private meeting is private meeting. Whatever we discuss in the private meetings stays at the private meeting. So thank you all of you for joining in. Thank you. We had the record number of people today, at least 116 people still waiting. And I cannot say, I'm working on some guests. Right now, I'm working on some guests to come next Saturday. But as soon as we do, we'll communicate that to you through the emails and through our social media handles. So thank you everyone for coming in. And then tomorrow, those of us who have put down your numbers will get across to you, let you know what we'll be making a demand, what you have to do to be part of the meeting tomorrow. Just make sure you put down your number, or you call the number that you're seeing right now on the shared slide, +234 8033042762, +234 8033042762. If you call that number, we'll able to tell you how you can be part of the meeting tomorrow. Samson Davis is somebody that you need to listen to. And beyond the gloom and the doom, you know, before now, when I listened to Samson Davis, it made me realize that I should not listen to people who say that luxury business would not sell. Thank God I listened to him. And then we've been able to sell a lot of luxury tickets by listening to him. So you need to pay attention tomorrow. For those of us who are business people, please join us tomorrow, but call the number or leave your number so that we can let you know what it will cost you or what it entails for you to be part of it. So thank you, everyone. So Kenny, let me see the faces of everybody so that I can say bye-bye to them as they leave. This is, wow, 20 minutes before our closing time. 20 minutes before our closing time. That's very interesting.
So we can still
guys,
hang around a bit.
You can hang around and talk. Abiola Samson, good to see you. Oh yeah, who is that?
Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. And send me hi to Pastor Hakeem Oguniro. I really enjoyed his last session, and it has really set us on fire, really.
Okay, I'll let him know. And
I'm waiting to see you around.
You know this very well that I would try as much as possible to drag and to get Dr. Christopher Kolade into a private meeting. That
would be amazing. That would be amazing. Amazing. I can't wait.
Into that group. It's a think tank, and we're there to build businesses that will last for 50, 100 years.
Wow.
And that's why in 2 weeks' time, we'll be having Dr. Febi Daosa. He's a second generation CEO, second generation. He didn't start the business. The father left the business for him, and he's still working strong and increasing profitability as we speak. So he needs 2 weeks from now, he'll come and tell us in the private meeting how he was able to do that. Remember, the vision is to help your business sustain, let it become sustainable for 50 to 100 years. So that's what we're discussing. And then you get to know more about our plans once you get there. We're planning a conference in a hotel or Transcorp Hotel Abuja, whichever one comes first. And we have another one coming in March next year in Dubai. We're watching the COVID situation, and I believe by then everything will have gone down. There'll be room for us to travel. So once you join the team, put your numbers down. We'll let you know how to be part of it. So tomorrow, 7 p.m. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. See all of you. So for those of us who are, Come on, this is for pastors now. Kenny, just go back. Okay, guys, thank you for joining in today. So those of you who see tomorrow will see, but some of us will see you on Thursday or on Saturday. On Saturday, I have not gotten a confirmation from my guest yet. As soon as I get the confirmation from the guest, I will let all of us know. But now you can see that Dr. Christopher Kolade has set a standard for us. We have to go and see how we can maintain that standard. It's a big standard. Can you imagine? Right now, 83 people are still refusing to leave the chat webinar, but it's okay. I love seeing your faces.
Pastor Nee, we don't want to leave. We want to stay here.
Since tonight is an adoption night, I want to
Don't
adopt
leave
you
me.
too. I want to do an adoption this night. You've started the adoption already, so I want to get it continued.
Okay, don't worry. You're adopted already. You're adopted.
No, this
Don't
is
leave me. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. You people are leaving me. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Awesome. It's so good to have you guys around. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for making this worth the while. You know, sometimes you can have these programs and people are not even showing up. But you guys showed up every now and then. Tosin Babalola, I need to appreciate you. Sarah,
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for joining at every point in time. Larry Odeshola, I'm not sure I can see Tolutoro in here.
She was around.
David Baba.
She was
Okay,
around. She left.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite. And now John Aja also is becoming very faithful now since he has been adopted. Now, and then Pastor Nat Ajeju is also always there. Shegun Olowo, it's good to see you. It's good to see you.
Sir.
You are
Yes, sir.
so for
And Pastor Nee, I'll make sure we'll have more Ebonyi State people next time.
I can see that you are really working in that Ebonyi. Oluwaji, it's good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
So, guys, those of us who can make it tomorrow, we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Those of us who can make it, see you.
I hope you get to call me as you said.
Yeah, Christian, I will call you. Just give me some time, man. I'm so walked out. I'll call you probably tomorrow. I'll call you. I promise.
Okay, all right. Okay.
We have a lot to do.
Okay. All right.
I did tomorrow.
What?
No, I said Ayadedeji. I'm talking to someone else. See you tomorrow.
Okay, all right. Okay, bye. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Abiola Abioro. Good to see you. The Lord Austin, good to see you.
Good to see you, sir. Good to see you.
So guys, thank you for joining in. See you tomorrow if you can make it. And please don't forget, you can go there, 27,000, you have access to the YouTube for 3 months. So every other webinar that we're going to have, we're just going to be putting it there. So you don't need to pay for it again. 27,000, you have access to it for 3 months. It was 1 month before, but we increased it to 2 months, 3 months now. So you can have access to it. So quickly, those of you who are regular people, just go there and make it happen for yourself. You'll have, apart from the webinars, there are so many other things. All my leadership bootcamp from 2018 to 2019, you have the videos there. And it's so rich, very rich library. You have access to it for 3 months. But like I said, private meetings, you will not see it there. Private meetings is private meeting. It has to be really, really private. So guys, thank you for joining in. I think I will have to go now. Ayodeji, good to see you. Thank you for switching on your video. Terry Maxwell, good to see you too. John Obina, thank you for switching on your videos. Thank you, sir. You guys.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, go and eat. Your food is ready.
I really appreciate it, sir. Great job, sir. Very much, sir. So much appreciate. Great job, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
you so much, sir.
If you are above 40, you shouldn't be at this time again.
Thank you very much, sir.
Take your time.
On the good way.
When you're above 40.